We are in section 1.4, measuring angles. So let's look at the solve it. Which angles below, if any, are the same size as the angle at the right? Describe 2 ways you can verify your answer. So when I mean describe 2 ways, I mean not just because it looks like the same size. But how do you know for sure besides because you can't say it looks like that? So what kind of mathematical reasoning can we use? So let's look at it through the lesson. Alright, so problem 1. Problem 1 asks, what are 2 other names for angle 1? So this is angle 1. So we have this right here. So we can name it angle JMK or angle KMJ. As long as M is in the middle, because if you name it MJK, there's no such angle as that because it would go this way. Do that. So why don't you try to got it on page 15. Problem 2. What are the measures of LKN, angle JKL, and angle JKN? Classify each angle as acute, right, obtuse, or straight. Now you can see through your notes what's acute, what's right, what's obtuse, and what's straight. So remember the distance, how we calculated the distance. We always did the first minus the second. So LKN is, let's do LKN right here. So let's look at it. It goes from 0 to L145. So remember we do 145 because that's L, that's the first one, minus 0, and therefore you get 145. And since it's more than 90, it's obtuse. It's more than 90 but less than 180. Alright, so now let's look at angle JKL. JKL. Now this one's tricky because one of them doesn't start at 0. So we're going to do 90 because J was first, and L, which is 145. So 90 minus 145 is also value of negative 55, and you get 55 degrees. Since it's between 0 and 90, it's acute. Alright, now the last one, we have angle JKN. Now, since J is first, we do 90 minus 0, which is 90. Since it's exactly 90 degrees, it's a right angle. So why don't you try the got it on page 16. Alright, problem 3. Synchronized form angles with their bodies as shown in the photo. If the measure of angle GHJ is 90 degrees, what's a measure angle KLM? So you see these tick marks here? Since that's one tick mark, this means if there's another angle with one tick mark, that means that these two are congruent. So since angle GHJ has 2, you can see that angle KML also has 2. So these two are congruent. So because they have 2 arcs, well, not tick marks, because they have arcs, that since this is 90, this is also going to be 90 degrees. So why don't you try the got it on page 16 in your student companion. Alright, problem 4. So if the measure of RQT is 155, what are measures RQS, and SQT? Now, you can't assume, even if it does look like that, split down the middle, because if it's split down the middle, that means that they are both about 78, and you can't assume that. So, to solve it mathematically, you know that if you add, like our pastas, you add this angle plus this angle, that will give you 55. So, start off, we'll do 4x minus 20 plus 3x plus 14 equals 155. We can get rid in parentheses, and we can get rid of these parentheses, so we're left with 4x minus 20 plus 3x plus 14 equals 155. So let's combine our like terms. We have 7x, negative 20 plus 14 is negative 6 equals 155. So now we're left with 7x minus 6 equals 155. So we're going to add 6 to both sides. So we're left with 7x equals 161. Divide each side by 7. We get x equals 23. So if x equals 23, our QS equals 4x minus 20. So we're going to plug it in. 72 degrees. So our QS equals 72 degrees. And then TQS equals 3x plus 14. So we do 3 times 23 plus 14. It's going to give you 83 degrees. So, remember what we did. We know that the measure of this whole angle is 155, but we don't know the exact measure. So we did this plus that equals 155. Set into an equation. Took the parentheses away, combined our like terms, and solved for x. Then once we solved for x, we plugged it back in to solve for the angles. So why don't you try the guide on page 17.